Well, hello, storytellers, and hello, world. Welcome again to another featured author interview. And right now we are streaming live in our Readers Magnet Facebook page and also in our Readers Magnet YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, then, kindly do so. And joining us today to tell us more about his book, Mr. Tom Portz, and he's the author of the book Elephants and Grapes, which is a book that he'd written for over 5 decades. Wow, that's amazing. Uh, I guess we're gonna talk more about that book later on. But for now, let's all welcome Mr. Tom Portz. Welcome, Tom, in our show
Nice
here.
to be
So
here.
anyway, yeah, how's your day going?
It's going well. Sunny and warm in Wisconsin. That's a pretty good day in
Wow,
February.
that's great. That's great. Well, I've heard from John, one of your author relations officer, that you just had your surgery last month. How was it?
My surgery went well. I've had a number over the last 3 years, and I'm getting better and better. So I have had some heart challenges, and I'm grateful to the care and skill of the Mayo Clinic and putting me
Mm.
back together.
Good to hear that. Well, going back to your book, and I'm very grateful that we were able to make this, you're able to make it today for this, interview. And I just can't help but notice that beautiful painting in the background. Wow, that's amazing. Is that something that you bought somewhere else, or I mean,
No,
I've heard
it's
that you're in. Mm.
no, I have paintings everywhere. Now over, well, approaching 2,000 pieces in the course of my life. And
Oh,
I've always liked drawing and painting. And the one in back of me is interesting because it's my own style and it's
mm.
painted below freezing. So there are quite a few
Wow.
layers of paint. And if I get the last couple on with the right chemistry underneath and the right paints above, it cracks and it gets really brilliant. And so I'm proud of it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that's brilliant, Tom. I mean, I've never heard of that kind of, technique. And I've been doing some arts as well from my kids.
Mhm.
Just basic arts, but I never heard of that kind of style. That's amazing. Well,
Well,
anyway, you're an artist, so I guess that makes sense, and being an artist, you need to be creative, right? Be creative enough to for you to be able to execute something unique, you know, for your audience, right?
sure.
And but of course, I think the cover in your book, Elephants and Grapes, you also created that drawings in there or painting, right?
I did.
Can you show the
Yeah,
cover to us? I mean, I just saw it online.
sure.
I just oh, there you go. Wow, this is a
Um,
paperback or a hard.
well, it's both. I'm holding a paperback, and
Oh, okay.
you're correct. I did do the painting myself, and it's around the room here. It's a combination of things, and I wanted it to be rather primitive, and I think I managed to get what I wanted.
Oh yeah, I mean that's very unique, and of course, as a person that also appreciates arts, I'm amazed that you were able to execute that, and it's something that you won't see to any other books out there. I mean, there's probably few books that use some paintings for their books, I mean, as a book cover, but not everybody's doing it.
Well,
Especially this book is, this is a poetry book, right, Tom?
this is a poetry book. Yep.
And you mentioned in the back cover of your book, so you've written this for over 5 decades. And can you describe to us the inspiration behind your book?
Well, the inspiration of the book goes back to the fact that I've had some serious heart issues. And so about 4 years ago, I was at the Mayo Clinic going through their patient system, and they said, you're not going to live too much longer.
Oh,
However, there's a procedure that we do, and it'll help you, and it did. But what happens along the way is you get very realistic about your life. And I've written for decades poetry, free verse, little stories, long stories. And I thought, well, rather than having boxes and binders of these things just thrown out if something happens to me, it's time to
Right.
start to pull things together. So when you say it's written over decades, that's true, but it was assembled and polished over the last number of months, shall we say. And there's more to follow. They still got boxes of them.
Wow. Well, so that means you have more to come or to
Yeah,
offer to
in
your
fact, I
readers.
just finished the painting for the next book last week, so there's more on its way.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Is that painting with you right now, or is that something that you can show to us a little
Uh,
bit, or not
I
yet?
I can't show it well. I don't know that I can show it quickly. Plus, it's large and it's still
But
wet. It's an oil.
it's okay. It's okay. I don't want you to damage your paintings right there. But anyway, you know, uh, so that's really crazy, like amazing that you become as an artist. You also try to apply your artistry or your creativeness rather in the book and wrote poetries or poems. So
Sure.
this book or this poems that you have in this book, does it contains any simile or kind of what kind of style did you
This
execute
is
here?
this is just a free verse, and um, it works for me. I tell a story, and I tend to do it in a poetical style, but it's not full of seesaw rhymes. And not that that's bad. It's just that doesn't tend to be my style. And these were written not entirely, but largely to people that were a
Ah,
part of my life.
so it's like an everyday interactions with them, and you came up with the idea that this is how you're gonna write a poem.
Well, I had a great mother, and she encouraged me to express myself. And
Mm.
so, you know, I have an evening with someone, and I'd come home, and they were on my mind, and I'd write a poem and give it to them, including my mother at times. And I never had any complaints, and I'm always glad that I did it. Perhaps my favorite poem, which is not in the book, is one that I wrote to my mom the year she died. She was very ill, and I gave it to her on Mother's Day, and I'm so glad I did. I'm glad for the effort. I'm glad that I sat down and read it to her, and that we could share it together. So
Yeah, I mean, I bet your mom is so proud of you right now, with all these things that you were able to achieve. But you mentioned that you're writing this stuff, in like every day. And how did you like? Why did you decided to just to publish it? Like, is there any like somebody that taught you like, hey, you might want to be a writer or something or publish this, you know,
well,
poems?
I'm not a writer. I'm trained in finance and economics, and so that isn't my everyday life. But the it was really the stimulus was really the fact that I was having some health problems, and some of the poems in the book are about my health, confronting, you know, my place here in this world and where I might be at another. So so it was important to me to gather this together, and get it, with a jacket on each side, and have it such that, if I'm gone, it isn't just lost forever. So that was the
Wow.
stimulus, and it feels good.
Oh yeah, true. Especially if you're able to see now the book with you in your hand, like you can feel it now that you're able to publish it, and and I believe you're gonna be promoting this book, or you're gonna be doing some book signings internationally, right?
Yeah, at the London Book Fair, and then that's coming up next month, and then a month later in Los Angeles at the LA Book Festival. So that'll be an interesting experience. Going from things that I wrote to a
Right,
girlfriend
right.
40 years ago to signing books in London. That'll feel a little bit different. And as they say,
Uh,
it'll be poetic.
I know, I know, I agree. But poems, it's always something that not everybody is doing or writing anymore. It's probably because of the type of audiences. It's quite lesser at some point, or you need to find a specific audience for that, because it's just my observation, as I am roaming around checking some bookstores. That's what I noticed. They nowadays they like spiritual books, or some fictional books that talks about a universe, and some fantasy,
Sure.
that they just created somewhere else. So do you have any, in writing your poems, do you have any kind of rituals or anything or any habits that you follow so that you can execute it well and it becomes an art, basically?
Well, I used to say that most everything that I did worthwhile was done after 10 o'clock at night. I seem to be at my best in the evening. I,
Okay.
when I start a painting, they talk about find the line. You have to drop that first line, and it has to feel right. And from there, you continue and paint the painting. And I think the same thing's true for this. Um, I keep a notepad next to my bed, and if I wake up, I usually remember my dreams at least right off the bat. And
Oh
so
yeah.
a lot of times I'll have noted an interesting line that will become the substance for something that I write later. And it feels good. It feels good to take a conscious or an unconscious thought and to create some structure around it and decide that it's done, and either share it with myself or share it with someone that it was written to. And some of the poems in the book are about my health. I mean, the challenge of literally getting through a day. For most of my life, and I hope to God you're not one in this situation. I mean, I didn't have to think about living, just working to live. And so
Wow.
now that's part of my day, and I've thrown a number of pieces into the book that talk about that.
Do you have any, did you ever experience any self-doubt that I don't want to like publish this book, like, you know how did you handle that, like, when that happens, or if that happens, at least?
Well, I'm not entirely sure about self doubt, though. I mean, these poems are expressive, and they're expressive over a
Exactly.
lifetime, and some are really personal, and some have a little bit of spice, and but that's how we live our lives, right? So I chose to
Exactly.
include it, and I think that's just fine. Um, it it, uh, it is as we all are. I just chose to put it on paper.
Well, anyway, Tom, thank you for sharing that. But yeah, since you already mentioned that this is, like your almost everyday experiences, like the poems that you have in this book, can you show us, maybe a page, or does it have any images or something inside, or
There are no images.
just
Um,
pure?
it's pure writing. Although you're not the
Mm.
first one to suggest that the next book should have a painting next to a poem.
Yeah, I mean, that's also my thinking earlier. I mean, I just read few pages of that, so I was thinking maybe there's something in the middle that you know that you probably included, like a painting of yours. So that's what I was thinking.
I have not done that, but I think it's appropriate to do in the next pass. And
Okay,
and
exactly.
I would enjoy it much less perhaps the reader, but it
Mm.
feels good. I like to see the paintings in a book or hung on the wall, and that's fun.
Yeah, like having your painting in your book, it's like you're not just promoting what you wrote for so many years ago,
Sure.
but you're also promoting your paintings. So you can put a credit part in that book, telling everybody like, hey, everything that you're seeing in this book is my painting. Like tell them like, I'm not just an author. I'm also a painter, an
Yeah.
artist.
Well, it's a great suggestion. You're going to be a good spokesman for me.
Well, like I've been seeing so many books in the past, and some of them were poetry books as well.
Yeah.
And that's how they try to make their book a little bit more different than the competition, you know.
Um,
And they just wanted to promote whatever they have, and sometimes it's kind of difficult to express what's in that line if there's no picture. Some other readers
sure.
out there, they want pictures, they want something to look at and imagine and read that line as they are imagining, the scene, or the picture rather. So that's what I
Well,
was.
I think that's a great idea, and I think that's something that I'm going to have to do, and I
Great,
think I
great.
can probably squeeze it out yet this year. But
Okay. So anyway, for those who are watching us live right now, you can, guys, grab a copy of Tom's book. It's Elephants and Grapes, and it's available in Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and you guys can also check him on Facebook. You have Facebook, Tom, right? Facebook,
I do.
Instagram, Twitter. So if you want to get connected with Tom, add him. It's just Tom Portz. You can see on your screen right now, TOMPORTZ, and just add him, and you guys can chat or ask him whatever you guys wanted to ask or know more about. But going back to your
I could add one more thing. I
yeah.
have a website, tomportsfineart.com. And if you get your laptop out and type in tomportsfineart.com, you can see a few hundred of my paintings.
Oh wow. So there you go, guys. Well, that's something that I probably missed while I was doing my research. Okay. Well, yeah, Tom Porch Fine Arts. That's the
.com. Yep.
word. .com. Okay, there you go. Anyway, going back to you, Tom. What are your ambitions in your writing career or as an author? Do you have any ambitions for your books? Maybe you know.
I years ago wrote a couple of novels, and so I would like to begin to collect the things that I'm doing now, the poetry. I would like to improve my craft, as it were, and
Mm,
somewhere in the not too distant future, do the rewrites and get those published. So I try to write or paint every day, and they're both extraordinarily satisfying to me. So so I'd like the two to become sort of the mainstream of my life. Uh, most of my career has been spent in business and finance, but I really enjoy the artistic side.
well, how do you manage, having different kind of careers and writing books? Like that's difficult. I mean, for me, personally speaking, I was thinking about that. Okay, you're doing some stuff during the day. Now you're writing, you know, poetry books, or poems in the evening. I mean, I know it's like you said, it's an expressive, type of poetry, but sometimes when you're too tired already for the day, it's just like I feel like I don't have time to do that. How do you handle that, or how do you manage that?
Well, you hit all the right points. I mean, sometimes it is tiring, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't do all that you hope to do. On the other
Oh
hand,
yeah. Yep.
sometimes the chaotic activities of the stock market are just the catalyst that I need to kind of rip something out. So I have plenty of things to stimulate me, and
Mm,
I am a bit of a night owl, so I can accomplish
okay.
a lot in those latter hours.
That's great. Well, do you have any memorable interactions or anything that you experienced from someone who probably read your book?
Um, I had someone comment that they particularly liked a book that I wrote about my grandfather. And my grandfather was someone that I didn't know most of my life. We traveled a lot and we didn't get together with him a lot. But in his later years, when he was in failing health, I saw him frequently. And he would tell me that I should be easy, take it easy. Life is hard enough, enjoy it while you're going by. And so there's a poem in here, and someone came up and said that they particularly liked that piece and they could relate to it. And I thought that was great. I thought it was good advice, and I wish I'd followed it. Be easy, be easier on your body.
Yeah. But as a poet right now, Tom, or as an author that wrote, poetry book, do you also read any kind of poetry books or follow any, poet in the past?
I like Mary Oliver. I like T.S. Eliot. I
Mm.
have plenty of people that I can gravitate toward, and
Oh, okay.
and what it's allowed me to do is more or less let go. I mean, it's the artist's license, both with the paintings and with the words, and I think the inspiration of other authors is just the fact that there's so many different ways to say things and do things that go for it. So it took me
Right.
15 years to figure out how to do these ice paintings, but I think I needed the inspiration of other painters to want to keep pushing to
Right.
figure it out.
Well,
Makes it
just like,
hard.
that's true. I agree, Tom. And just like, writing books as well, you just need to get some ideas from other, or inspiration from other professional author or writers out there. And that's going to help you to improve your skills, the way that you write things, or the way that you deliver a story. It's very important, especially if you're writing a fictional books. You need to have a proper ingredients to make that particular book engaging, right?
Sure.
For your audience. And for this book of yours, Tom, Elephants and Grapes, I'm just wondering why the title is like that. Like, maybe you can, is that something that you just or someone recommended to you?
No. One evening, I sat down and I was thinking about my girlfriend, and I thought she was terrific. She is terrific beyond words.
This
And
is your
so
girlfriend
I
right
sat
now.
down and I said, I started with a line that was, I love you. I love you more than this and more than that. And in the end, I love you more than elephants and grapes. In fact, I can tell you, I can read it to you right this
Oh,
very
oh, yeah,
minute.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. This is
It
your
says, I
girlfriend
love
right
you.
now, Tom, right?
What's that?
This is your girlfriend right now, or
Yeah.
is it your wife? Okay, okay. I'm just
So, so it starts out, I love you. I love you so much. More than treasures captured or created, more than the giddy fever of first love or the imminent grace of an aged union, even more than the delicious adoration of elephants and grapes, a lot more. So that's how the poem started.
wow, that's very sweet, Tom. Well, I bet if she's listening right now or watching us live right now, she might be giggling. So,
Well,
you
I
know,
hope so.
yeah. But
People have people have added a lot to my life. It's time to share my feelings with them.
yep, you just have to, Otherwise, you might lose that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
To say that to them. And,
Well, and
you know,
it's a thrill to see it in one spot. It's a thrill to see paintings like that in great big public places. It's I think
are
I'm
you going to be bringing some paintings with you in London or in LA?
well, maybe they're not terribly portable, but but
Okay.
I'll bring the larger coffee table books that have them. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, yeah, but that one in the background, I mean, I'm not going to recommend that because it's huge and you got to pay expensive money for that for transport,
Yeah,
Yeah, but anyway, who would you recommend this book, Tom? My last question for you.
I have to say that I think it would be a fit for women, and my guess is it might appeal to women that are in their middle 20s to maybe their middle 60s. And that's largely because a lot of the poems were written to women. So I don't know.
But
I think
but
that might
men
be.
can also relate to this, right? Like they're also gonna enjoy this book.
I think they'd enjoy it. I think they'd relate to it. I think that the things that I chose to say to the women in my life are probably things that they'd like to ponder in theirs.
Okay. Well, and any upcoming books that you are about to publish or that you're currently writing right now, and when do you think we're gonna be expecting that book to be available?
I think there'll be a second book of poetry coming up at the end of the year. But I did finish a book, and it's odd, and it's all new, and it has to do with the fact that I spend a lot of time in California, and I often fly through Las Vegas, and it's always an entertaining flight going on a plane to Las Vegas. There's always loud people that I'll never meet
Yeah.
again. And so 3 or 4 rows behind me, this woman was going on and on and on. And she said, I am out of my mind. I don't know what to do. I'm getting married and I just can't write my wedding vows. And I thought,
Oh,
huh,
wow.
well, I could write wedding vows. So here
Okay.
I am, a little older than the average individual. Uh, and I sat down and I wrote wedding vows that would appeal to, I think, same-sex people, to
Okay.
him to her, her to him, people in the military, people with disabilities, people like me that are the second time or a little later in life. And so it was a lot of fun. It's done. That's the one that I just finished the painting for. So I'm hoping to publish
Wow.
that in the next month or 2 or 3.
Well, that's exciting, Tom. Well, thank you for sharing your story to us, Tom. And I just don't know how what else to ask you. We're kind of running out of time right now, but probably invite your audience or your readers, or for those who are actually interested with poetry books or poems, or arts, invite them with what you have right now.
Well, I certainly would like to share it with anyone that's listening. I think I think there are poems that fit a lot of people, and they'll feel like parts of everyone's life. And I think that's a good thing. And I will take your advice, and I'll do another one at some point that includes paintings
Okay.
right next to the poems.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check that out. I'll wait for it. You said next year, right?
I think it'll take me. I think we'll have
About.
another book out at the end of the year, and this vows book in the middle. So
Oh, okay, okay. I'll check that out. Anyway, I have your website and I have your information, so I can just go ahead and Google it and figure out if that's already available. But anyway, thank you so much, Tom, for doing this interview today. And yeah, there you go, everyone, Mr. Tom Portz, and again, he's the author of the books, or book rather, Elephants and Grapes. It's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and your website is Tom Portz,
Tom Portz
fine
Fine Art.
finearts.com,
Yeah.
and he also have a Facebook account, Instagram account, and Twitter account. Oh my God, that sounds like a new generation author. you,
How
you got
about
all
that?
this social media stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I
Thank you
still
so
write
much.
with a pencil.
But anyway, thank you so much again. And as we say it here with Readers Magnet, we share your story with the world. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, Red. Take care.